Hey everybody, I'm sending out this technique for the rotator cuff, which is a totally not scary place. Okay, it consists of four different muscles. You have your infraspinatus, your supraspinatus, your subscapularis, and your teres minor. And for the most part, all of those muscles can be accessed by pressing into the back of your shoulder blade. What the rotator cuff is responsible for is rotating your humerus bone in and out of the socket, internally, externally. So if you've got any restriction there, what'll end up happening is that you'll take the whole shoulder with you. And then you'll end up using muscles that are not really supposed to be doing the job of rotating, but they kick in so that you can function. All right. So with the rotator cuff, and actually let's pause for a graphic here. So you can see the supraspinatus is like way up top. You've got this little spiny bone on the back of your shoulder blade, and most of us can't feel that. And then below that is the subscapularis, the infraspinatus, and then the teres minor is right on the outer edge. Now let's flip to this image of the tricep because we're going to do the tricep today, mostly because I have a buddy out there named Jackie who has tennis elbow right now, and mobilizing the tricep and rolling through the tricep can really help that. Okay, so this is for my girl Jackie, but also for the rest of us because doing this movement and extending the tricep requires length from the teres minor, which is a rotator cuff muscle, and then that really feeds into the tricep tendon and the tricep. So these two groups of muscles work really well together in harmony when reaching up overhead, okay? And if the rotator cuff is too tight for that, and if the tricep is too tight for that, none of it's really gonna move all that well. And I see this a lot these days because a lot of us are keeping our elbows down at our sides more and more instead of extending the arm up overhead in all the different positions that it needs to be in using the rotator cuff and the tricep, okay? It's important to note that your shoulder is a circular joint. It's got a back, which we're going to work today. It's got a front, it's got a top, and it's got a bottom, all right? So there's and all the other angles in between. Everything needs to work in harmony with one another in order for your shoulder to feel really, really good. And that's where if you're feeling like your shoulder is sticky even after this move, maybe this will open some sort of channels of communication in your brain for you. Maybe it'll open up some mobility, or maybe you'll become aware of other places that are tight. Then you should get that my shoulder masterclass, because it doesn't take any less than really an hour to work through all of these different muscle groups. And that's exactly what you should be doing if you have a ton of shoulder restriction. Okay, anyway, let's get to the rotator cuff. I'm excited. Come on down onto your back. And we're always going to bring, anytime we're starting on the shoulders, the upper back, always going to bring the the roller behind our shoulder blades, behind the upper back. Clasp your hands together always to create a supportive hammock to lie your head back into. And then just allow yourself to drape over the shape of the roller. It doesn't have to be a ton, just enough to sort of reverse the curvature that you may have been in all day. Okay, take a breath. Exhale to arrive there. And then you can totally drag your hips against the ground or lift them while you glide up and down your upper back, just taking the roller to the base of your neck and then back down to about the middle of your rib cage, staying on the upper back, just the top of the back. Take a couple passes. And then when you're ready to get serious, you're going to bring that roller into sort of the mid to upper back, not all the way up to your neck, but just an inch or so below that. Set your hips down and roll onto one side. I'm going to choose my left side. Bring your left elbow to the ground, make a fist with the left hand, and just hold your head. This should feel like a pretty natural place to be. And already some of you are going to feel like there's a lot of sensation coming through the shoulder blade right now. You want the roller to be nestled in the pocket where your arm and your shoulder blade meet. It's like the roller was meant to nestle into this place. If you're up on your arm, you're too high. And if you're down on your ribs and there's space underneath your armpit, you're too low, okay? Nestle it in there. Get comfy on your side. And then start to rotate yourself open to the sky, stepping this top foot behind you. It's okay if this elbow comes off the ground. Keep it supporting your head. It still does a pretty good job, even when the elbow lifts. And then come back onto your side. And you don't want to roll in the pit of your armpit, but you are coming right next to the armpit. This is the teres minor and the tricep tendon here on the outer edge of the armpit. So while you're not going right into the pit of it, you're coming just right next to that. And as you rock from back to side, you're starting to feel sort of what the rotator cuff muscles feel like back here. Maybe they feel a little resistant to your pressure. Time to switch into a squishy roller. Maybe it feels pretty good. Maybe it could feel even more sensational for you. And if that's the case, take your top arm, that's the right for me, wrap it around, and then grab your left wrist and pick up your left elbow enough for your head to rest in your upper arm bone without coming down like this, right? Keep the head supported, the neck is in line with your spine. And then rock yourself forward again and all the way back. You have taken the muscles of the rotator cuff into a stretch while you're pinning them down. You might even start to glide downward a little and upward a little to increase your search area in the back of the shoulder. And then when you do find something, snuggle down into it. Let's find some stillness on that spot and just take a couple big breaths. As you inhale, expand out into your pressure, energetically, physically. Exhale, let the pressure absorb back into you. Couple more breaths. We're just going to do one side together because it's a tall order. Doing both sides is like basically half of a class. Hence why it takes a while to release these tissues, and to release the whole shoulder takes a lot longer, right? All time worth spending. Okay. Stay where you are, whether you have your elbow on the ground or your elbow lifted, stretch out both legs. Take your right hand onto the ground or the roller in front of you, and then stretch out your left arm. And then just start to slither against the ground to glide the roller up onto your tricep. Now, immediately just get yourself kind of comfy here. If this is like too crunchy up here, then you've got issues in the top of the shoulder, and that's a different move, okay? So we're going to get there later. Or again, masterclass, that's for you. You might take a pillow in between your head and your arm, and that can help, okay? Start to glide the roller all the way up towards your elbow, and then all the way back down to your shoulder blade. Be careful of any long hair or drapey clothing or anything like that that can get caught under the roller here. And as you glide up and down your tricep, you're going super slow and you're really slithery. You're really making friends with the floor here. So make sure it's clean and you want to be on it. The tricep is a really ropey group of muscles. So when you flip your palm down, you'll have a different experience than if you flip your palm up, or if you shift your weight forward, shift your weight back, you will lump over the tricep group. So instead of lumping over it, see if you can pin it down on a certain line, whatever line feels significant for you, and then comb through the line. Now find a spot within the line. Let your ribs kind of connect to the ground if they can. You might have a pillow supporting your ribs. You might have a pillow supporting your head. Take a breath. Any numbness happening in your fingertips is normal. You might bend your elbow. You might rotate through your wrist. You might make a fist and push it out, engaging the tricep. If you've never done this before, this can feel very foreign and it can almost feel wrong, but I assure you it's very right. A soft roller is probably something you want to consider getting if that's how you're feeling, if you're feeling like a little invaded at the moment. Take another couple moments here on the tricep, this totally necessary line of tissue in order to open out the side of our bodies and our rotator cuff. And then when you're ready, sneak your way back down to your shoulder blade. Ooh. Rotate yourself back, open to the sky, step your feet into the ground, hold your head with that clasp, and drape yourself over the roller. Some of you are going to feel less restricted right away just by being in this move. You might glide yourself up and down to kind of feel through that. And then definitely find your way to your shoulder blades, set your hips down, and go to the other side. If you need to replay this back so that to guide you through the other side, go ahead and do it. When you finish both sides, assess yourself, right? If you feel a little bit scrunched up here, you've certainly got tension living in the top of your shoulder, in your trap, in your scalenes, maybe your sternocleidomastoid, that muscle that juts out right there. Um, if you feel free, then great. Then you did it. And congratulations. And either way, I bet you felt something and I wonder what it was. So feel free to let me know, okay, in these comments or whatever platform you're watching this on. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you again next week.